Charlie, Man United 0, Man City 3. Absolute demolition job. Absolutely put to the sword today with ease, with City largely in first and second gear.
Yeah, men against boys. Probably just as bad, if not worse, as the 2-0 here under Ollie when we lost it. Probably worse, I'd say, because I actually had hopes of Ten Hag last season. I really thought I thought he did a fantastic job last season, and this season it's been shocking. Okay, we've had an injury crisis. Okay, we've got problems going on outside the club, but still, you cannot keep playing the same players that are not performing. But there's no, I don't see an identity on the pitch. I think under Ollie, I think a lot of what we tried to do was transition based. I think Ten Hag's maybe trying to do the same, but I just don't think it's sustainable. He's relying on the same individuals every week as Ollie did, that only got him so far. And yeah, men against boys today, absolutely shocking.
Where do you stand with, Ten Hag's decisions, his managing of tough situations? Yeah, we've had a lot of injuries, but tactics, just with where he is right now with this team, and how do you think it's going to go if he can't find a way to stem this bleed, really? What's your thoughts on him? I
just don't see it going anywhere else. He came out with a quote in the week, "I'm going to play Rashford into form." And then Rashford gives him that. I was watching Rashford in the first half. The lack of I can see, because I'm right by the pitch on the Sir Alex stand, so I can see when a player comes over to my side. I'm in the middle of the pitch, so I can see a player and their body language. And every time Rashford comes over, and every time Rashford comes over to the side and he puts some defensive work in, he gives that puff of the cheeks. He doesn't want to put it in, Flex. He doesn't want to put it in.
That's his work ethic.
Yeah, and I can never say that about Bruno, because he always will put it in. But technically, Bruno, some of the basics that he does wrong are shocking. By the way, I'm not defending him, but Rashford, some of the lack of work rate, the lack of intensity from him, and a lot of other players, don't get me wrong, was shocking. But that guy gets away with it. And I'm fed up of it, Flex. I'm fed up of him not dropping these players. And then you take Højlund off and you leave Rashford on. And Martial, don't get me wrong, I want Martial needs to go for the benefit of the club. We need to bring in a better striker. But Martial must be sitting there thinking, I'm the other number 9 on the bench. You're giving me 2 minutes every week. I always have a good game against these, a good game against City. He's not the answer for the long term, Martial. But he must be thinking, looking at Rashford performances, how the hell am I not getting in the team?
I think that's seeping into the squad in terms of, I know the Sancho situation.
Sancho's got to be sitting there right now laughing his head off at all this. And I was the person who backed Ten Hag over Sancho, because I always think you back the rest of the squad over one player. But Sancho must be sitting there, and I actually look at it, I might agree with him. Last season, Anthony starting every game. When Sancho did play last season, a few games, he actually looked good off the right. And then this season, Sancho in pre-season played really well. And he's never got a chance again. And look, that decision's... I'm just lost with it all, Flex. The decision, the tactical elements, the substitutions, taken off Amrabat. Okay, he wasn't very good, but you've got to have balance, Flex. You've got to leave your only number 6 on the pitch. Eriksen, he leaves on, and Eriksen. Somebody else said, I think Bradley said it. Eriksen, you don't start Eriksen in all the games that suit Eriksen, and then you start Eriksen today in the game that doesn't suit Eriksen when you need some more legs out of possession. I think it's absolute shambles, Flex. It's an absolute shambles.
Can he turn it round? Can he? What does he need to do to start turning this round?
It's looking very, very bleak.
Pick different players. Does that, or some of the ones he's bought? What are they doing?
Don't get me wrong. He's not the biggest issue at the club, and I'm not coming on here saying sack Ten Hag tonight and get another manager. I'm saying I don't think I can back these decisions anymore. What he's doing, and what can he do? I think he's honestly going to die on his sword. I think he's come out. The quotes about Bruno, making Bruno captain, the quotes about Rashford, he seems to he's never going to drop. And
he can't drop them because he's put that pedestal. He's put them on that pedestal.
Players. By the way, people who are watching, I'm not just blaming 2 players. No. Diogo Dalot, and I'm a fan. I was a fan of Diogo Dalot, but he gives you he gives you some good performances, then he gives you some more inconsistent performances. He said Varane and Reguilon were tactical changes. That can't be right. Well, if it is right,
that's even worse.
Disgrace.
Yeah,
that's an absolute disgrace. So yeah, I mean, Andre Onana is probably one of the only positives. Again, I thought he did well. I think he's shown what sort of goalkeeper he is in the last few games. He's played well again today. But there's a lack of identity. How can he turn it round? You just got to go back to basics, make yourself hard to beat, drop certain players. And don't get me wrong, we have had injuries, okay, and I support that. Yeah. But still, you've got to work with what you've given. I mean, Wolves had the blueprint. It was without Rodri, but Wolves had the blueprint of how to beat Man City. I mean,
and make it obviously they won, but make it a game.
Young boys in the week they lost 3-1 at home. It was 1-1 for some time in that game. You know, it's shocking, and he's not the biggest issue at the club, of course he isn't, but some of the decisions he's making I just can't keep supporting. I can't keep supporting.
And that's one of the biggest things for me. I'm just looking at the team and I'm like, they just look clueless.
Yeah.
They just look clueless, and then they can't even revert to the basics of let's get in their faces, let's put a tackle in, or if you're not going to play like that, let's sit off, let's be compact, let's not give away anything.
Yeah.
Even though we're struggling to make chances, or we might be struggling in transition, City aren't really hurting us.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that's difficult against an amazing City side, but it's the lack of sort of quality across the board from us.
And the pressing thing we're doing, we've done it under Ten Hag for a long, long time. We don't back up the press with our fullbacks. So every time City's fullbacks were free, every time. And then one of our midfield players has to go over. So our fullbacks don't back up the press. And it's been happening for months and months and months, and it's costing us in every single game. Because as I said to you before, if you watch today, Guardiola, every time he chested the ball down and he ran, and Bruno was trying to bring him down, and whoever, but they're getting the ball out to the fullbacks in build-up every time, and we're not stopping it. And it's such an easy way to get out. And it's just absolutely shocking, mate. Absolutely shocking.
You've got Newcastle to come next. I know it's Carabao Cup, teams change, all that crap, but it's a tough game. You know, the games aren't getting any easier. Look at where we are in the Champions League group. You know, the way that we won the last 3 games, even though we were happy we won 3 on the bounce, and that was all that matters, and make sure you win. Yeah. This proves how unsustainable that type of football is.
Yeah, and you can lose to Man City.
Yeah,
I'm not coming
exactly.
I thought we'd lose 3-1 today when I saw the team. I'm not coming. I expected to lose, but it's the manner in which you lose. It's the decisions from the manager. It's the lack of intelligence from some of the players. It's the same things we've been talking about for again and again. And I'll admit, I gave Ollie a couple of seasons, but I wanted Ollie out of the club. I really didn't support him, and I have to say, some of the things that Ten Hag's doing now, it's just as bad as what Ollie was doing. So I can't be a hypocrite and say I back and you know, Ten Hag's a great manager, because some of the things he's doing right now are just as bad as what, even worse, some of the things. So I just don't know where we go from here.
Sure, mate. How you doing?